Sunday morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Score Values. I'm your host, Adam Harris. This morning, we're going to focus on children, and specifically children with disabilities and autism. And we're going to speak with Theresa Forthofer. She's the president and CEO of Easter Seals in DuPage and Fox Valley. And what they do there is a full-on service one-stop place for anyone out there that has a child or a teenager or even is an adult with a disability or with autism. And this place will help diagnose. This place will help treat. It will help families cope with the initial shock and news that maybe their child or loved one has a disability of some form. And it will help treat to the point where these children can do things that normally at first you wouldn't think that they could. It's a great story and it's a great place. And there's a bunch of different locations. Theresa is going to tell us about all the different locations and all the different services that they offer to the families and to the children themselves. And welcome back into Score Values. I'm your host, Adam Harris. And as promised before the break, we are joined by Theresa Forthofer. She's the president and CEO of Easter Seals in DuPage and Fox Valley. Theresa, thanks for giving us time today.
Oh, thank you, Adam. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you today and get to know what you guys do over at the Easter Seals, DuPage and Fox Valley. So that's my first question. What do you do?
So we work with infants, children, and adults with disabilities, including autism, to overcome challenges with the help of our expert clinical staff. We serve about 1,000 children a week, and we have 3 centers located in Naperville, Villa Park, and Elgin. And one of the things that we're most known for is that we support the entire family because we know that when there's a child with a disability in a family, it affects more than just the child. And so we work with siblings, parents. We even have a grandparents group that meets regularly, and caregivers as well. And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
The types of services we offer are physical therapy, occupational therapy. We have an autism diagnostic clinic and work with children with autism. We have early intervention services, nutrition therapy, and one of the most exciting things we have is a child care center for children with and without disabilities.
What is autism, first off, for people that might not know?
So autism is a spectrum disorder. So what that means is that children can have varying degrees of a disability. And so, really every child with autism can present very differently. Many children with autism have sensory issues that can relate to loud sounds, lighting, touch, texture, color, a variety of different things. And also many children with autism have trouble with fine motor skills and even gross motor skills, and that's where physical therapy and occupational therapy, as well as sensory integration therapy, can really be extremely helpful for children with autism, especially when they're diagnosed early, which is why we focus heavily on early diagnosis, and that's something that's actually incredibly important to me personally as well as professionally. I have 3 children myself, and 2 of my children have muscular dystrophy as well as autism. And one was diagnosed much later in life and so didn't really receive the services of early intervention early in life, and my other one received services, I think, by the time he was about 3 or 4 weeks old. And the dramatic difference now that they're much older is really remarkable. It's really important to have all children screened, not just children who there may be a concern for a developmental delay, because it makes such a tremendous difference to their life if treatments and therapies are done early in the first 5 years of their life.
Is your facility, like, in addition to these children and anyone really just going about their daily life or going to public school as well and that type of stuff, or do you work with public schools at all?
We do. So we provide a variety of different services. So we have many of our therapists who for early intervention, which is a state funded program, will go into families' homes for children under the age of 3 and actually provide therapy for children in their natural environment, in their home where they live and play every day. And so the therapist will actually go into their homes.
No, that's great.
And then for children over 3 and some children under 3, they also come to our centers because at our centers we have equipment and a lot of innovative equipment that families, can't necessarily afford or even be able to maintain in their homes. And so it gives us the opportunity to really use some new technologies. And then we also do work with schools. We provide services to many of our local schools and also work within various community centers and daycare centers as well.
You're listening to Score Values. I'm your host, Adam Harris. I'm joined by Theresa Forthofer, the president and CEO of Easter Seals, DuPage, and Fox Valley. And we've spoken about autism a little bit. What other disabilities do you guys help anyone get through?
Really, we service kids who might have a mild developmental delay, maybe a speech delay, to children who are very medically complex, maybe have feeding tubes. We see kids with Down syndrome, kids with cerebral palsy, a lot of children who have an undiagnosed developmental delay or disability. And so we really see a wide variety of children, and it's one of the things that's important for us. Our therapists really look at each child completely independently. And one of the things that I talked just briefly about a moment ago was the importance of early intervention. And we really encourage all families, caregivers, grandparents, to really screen their children, because a developmental delay is a slowed or impaired development of a child who's under 5 years old. And sometimes a parent, and in my personal case, a parent doesn't pick up those small signs that might lead to a disability or a delay. And a developmental delay affects 1 in 6 children. So if you know 6 children, the likelihood is that one of them may have some sort of developmental delay. And we have an online, free, confidential screening tool called the Ages and Stages Questionnaire, and it's at askeasterseals.com. And it's a great screening tool that can help parents uncover any potential delays. And we really, if a delay is noted, then we can offer the support needed so that children are school ready and really build a foundation for a lifetime of learning. It has tremendous impact we know how children's brains are growing every day in those early years, and it really makes a lifelong impact.
And the goal would be to, like you said, I like that you mentioned, get them school ready, because you're right, that's such an early intervention phase. And I'm sure that tackling something like that as early as possible, like you mentioned, getting them into schools more, I guess, I hate to say this word, but it's what's coming to my head. It's just more of a normal process going into school. And that's fantastic. And so when let's say a parent does go to, is it askeasterseals.com? Is that what it was?
Yes.
Okay, they go to that and they notice that their child might have a little bit of a delay. They come into you, and then what happens?
Sure. So what happens is after they take the screening tool, within a few days to a week, they'll get a report back that's very detailed on all the various levels, from fine motor to gross motor to communication skills, social skills, and they'll get a report back that shows how their child did in each of the different areas, and then they're encouraged to either reach out to their pediatrician or to Easter Seals, or if they're under 3, to early intervention. And they'll have all of that information actually on a piece of paper. So they can actually, if they go to their pediatrician or to us or to EI, they can take that information with them and really then focus on what are the needs of that specific child, maybe some speech therapy. And we know that more than a million children enter school behind their peers when they enter kindergarten. And many of them are because of undiagnosed delays. So if we have the opportunity to work with these children in the first 5 years of life, the opportunity for them to be on track with their peers is much more possible. And kids who aren't on track with their peers in kindergarten have a very difficult time ever catching up. So there's so much that can be done in those first 5 years of life. It's one of the reasons that our affiliate here in DuPage and Fox Valley is committed to screening. But from a national Easter seals perspective, it's something that we as a national organization are very committed to as well.
Theresa, what about children that are already in school, maybe already in a special ed classroom? Are there ways for you guys to help what the school psychs at those schools are maybe doing for their kids?
Certainly. One of the things that looking back now, my youngest is 16, but he was pulled out of the classroom so much for different therapies that he often missed curriculum in the classroom.
Right, because there's no other time to do it.
So one of the things, if I had to do it all over again, I would certainly do therapy in addition to what's being done at the school, because I think there's so much more that can be done. Mm-hmm. And it's never too late. I think sometimes children all develop at a different pace. And so sometimes a child may have a very minor delay that they might outgrow, that might not be an issue, until they enter first grade, second grade, third grade, when the curriculum and the expectations of a child become more demanding. And that's when we often hear stories from parents or teachers that, oh, my child has a behavior problem. Well, it may not be a behavior problem. It may be an issue related to sensory or stimuli that's going on in the classroom, or the level of work, or the writing. And so we can evaluate children at all ages and really encourage parents to use that and use those opportunities to seek help, because we see the progress every day here. I see children who weren't walking 6 months ago who are now walking completely independently.
That's amazing.
Yeah, children who spoke maybe 2 or 3 words who now we can't hardly get to stop talking. So, there's really any age, it's important because it really builds such a foundation for the future. And most importantly, the earlier you get help for your children, the much more successful they'll be in school, too.
Theresa Forthofer, President and CEO of Easter Seals DuPage in Fox Valley, joining us right now. Theresa, there's so many services that you guys offer. There's a bunch of child care center, there's family services, hearing services, nutritional therapy, occupational therapy. I mean, all this goes into helping a child's life just get better and help grow them on an educational standpoint, not a behavioral standpoint. I watched the video of your guys' facilities, and it looks amazing. It looks like anyone could just stay there for days. Can you kind of paint us a picture of what you guys have going on over there?
It's a wonderful facility, and that is very important to us because we want children and families, especially for the parents of maybe a young child who just found out their child has a diagnosis and they're nervous and they're scared and they don't know what that means. When people walk into our facility, it's bright, it's child-friendly. We have beautiful pictures hanging on our wall of children doing things they love to do regardless of their limitations. And it's very welcoming. Our family playroom was designed by Lego. So a lot of parents sitting in the beanbags in there, not just kids. And our staff is very welcoming and accommodating. And our goal is to make this a fun place for children to come and play and work and not really realize that the therapy and the work that they're doing is really work. It's really a fun environment. We have a walking track down the center of one of our main hallways for children who are often in a wheelchair most of their life. And it gives them the sense of being able to walk and the sense of gravity, and it's physically so important for their bodies. but they'll also have races down the hallway.
Fantastic, right.
And it's just an active place. We do not allow parents to leave. They come and stay, and they talk to other parents, and it's just a really warm, friendly, welcoming environment where families can get support and children can get support from their peers as well as from every staff member who works in the building, whether it's our maintenance staff or our senior clinician. We're all just a really dynamic team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that I think makes us different as well, is that our occupational therapists and speech therapists and PTs and audiologists are all working together. So even if your child's only seeing a speech therapist, that speech therapist has the input of 100 other staff members from different professions who can offer support and guidance. So your child's not just getting one therapist, they're getting 100 therapists and specialists who can really help. And parents have the support of family service liaisons as well as social workers. So it's really a one-stop shop for families and children with delays or disabilities.
Theresa, hang on for 1 minute, please. We're going to get back to you in just about a minute. We're going to come back and see how the public can help you guys and what people could do to get in contact with you guys. But first, we're going to hear this message. And welcome back into Score Values. I'm your host, as always, Adam Harris. We have been joined all show by Theresa Forthofer, the president and CEO of Easter Seals in DuPage in Fox Valley. And before we get to what you guys also offer the families, because I think that's such an important aspect of it, and also how other people can help you, I want to talk to you about the feeling a parent might have at this moment, maybe even driving in the car and then worried or whatever, and then they start thinking about it, about their child, and are they okay? And then as far as the process goes of diagnosing and all that, like everything would take time, and also maybe there's dollar signs in the parents' heads. And I know that when it comes to money, your child is something that you really, really want to put it all you can towards, but it's still a concern. What are the aspects of how much time dedication this would take for a family member and for a family, and then also what about money?
Sure. So the intake process is pretty simple. It does require a lot of paperwork because we want to learn as much in advance as we can about your child before you get here.
Right.
And the evaluation process is typically, a couple of hours or maybe 2 sessions, and there'll be a thorough analysis done. And then obviously the amount of time of therapy can be as little as, every other week or once a month to as often as several therapies a week. It really depends on the delay. As far as the payment, we do accept most major medical insurance. We also accept Medicaid and early intervention. We are an early intervention provider. And we also have financial assistance because we know that for a child who may be coming multiple times a week, even if they have insurance, the deductibles and the copays can be very expensive.
Right.
And that's where our fundraising efforts and our public support really come into play. Is we know that every dollar spent today on a child who's under the age of 5 is going to save $8 down the road. And so it's a really worthwhile investment in your child's future, both financially and for what they will be able to accomplish. But we do offer a variety of supports to our families from a financial perspective and accept almost all insurance.
And then how do you guys help families as far as just kind of coping with maybe the news or maybe adjusting to that lifestyle for a little bit?
Sure. So we have professional parent liaisons. So these are they go through extensive training, but they also are parents themselves of a child with a disability, and they really help a family walk through the maze of what it means for their child and understand acronyms that they're going to hear, like IEPs is an individual education plan that parents have to do in schools, and how that process works. We'll even support families through that process. And then there's a whole nother gamut of processes when your child turns 18 and 22 and what that means and what services are available. So they're not only helping you navigate and connect and link to other services in the community, they're also helping you, helping families on an emotional standpoint of what it means to have a child with a disability, what it may mean if your child would want to live independently at 22, and what would that look like? And so they're really prepared to help a family and meet a family wherever they are, whether it's very early and just learning that your child has a diagnosis, which can sometimes be a grieving process for parents when they learn that, to understanding the diagnosis, to then connecting to services and really helping them see and connect with other families so that they can understand that a child recently diagnosed with cerebral palsy, they can see another child who is doing incredibly well and what it means. One support group we have a young man who has a communication device. And so he will actually work with other children who also have, it's almost like a computer that you can talk with.
Right.
And he actually mentors a group of young boys who have a similar disability and are learning to use the communication device. And it's so rewarding for parents to be able to see how accomplished this young man is, and gives them really the sense of what their children can accomplish with the right support and commitment to learning.
That's a really, really cool story, and it's an awesome image to think about. Just because everything might seem so overwhelming at the start, and really that no one else is going through any of this, and it's just something that I think everyday people might end up just kind of, feeling really sad about at the start, but then seeing hope like that and coming to the DuPage and Fox Valley Centers is great. So how can people help you? How can the public help you? What are you guys looking for?
Sure. So we are always looking for volunteers and donations. That's something that makes our program run. It honestly would not be possible without contributions from the community, and we're really committed to working with our volunteers and giving them a rich experience as well. We have a lot of new things coming up. We have a golf clinic from the Freedom, in connection with the Freedom Golf Association. And, you talk about kind of having an image. I never thought my son could hold a golf club and actually hit a golf ball and not the kid sitting next to him. And he's going to be participating in the program.
That's fantastic.
And, we need a lot of volunteers to support with that program. We have a lot of community, summer-based community therapy programs like rock climbing and aquatic therapy, programs that help with social and emotional help. And we're always looking for volunteers to help us when we're out in the community or even here at the center with some of the kids. All of those programs, we have support and one-on-one help with our professional staff. But volunteers just help to create a more natural environment and make it fun for the children too. And our staff can always use the extra hands, especially when you're trying to help a youngster rock climb for the first time. A few extra set of hands is always a good thing.
Is there any special qualifications a volunteer might need?
No, we do. They have to be 16 or older. And we do have a process that they go through, but it's, we do want to make sure that that they are friendly, outgoing, able to work with children, like children, are comfortable around children with disabilities. And I had one volunteer recently tell me that she wasn't sure how she would feel because she really hadn't ever been around anyone with a disability. Well, not only did she become a regular volunteer, she actually ended up becoming an employee in our child daycare center.
That's awesome.
So I think sometimes people are a little uneasy because they don't know what to expect. But our children are just like any other child. They want to love and play and have fun, and they just sometimes do it a little bit differently than a typically developing child.
And again, where's the do you also this golf the golf thing you were talking about? Is that
Right.
sort of like is that like a fundraising event, or is that just a clinic for the kids?
This is just a clinic for the kids.
Okay.
And it's just here at our center because it's a 4-week clinic that we're trying, and then we're hoping to expand the program after that. So stay tuned. I think we'll end up with a lot of fun things developing around that collaboration with the Freedom Golf Association.
And any more information people need at dfvr.easterseals.com. It's a great website. There's a lot of videos. There's a lot of pictures. There's a lot of information there. For sure, and at askeasterseals.com for that test. And what phone number can people reach you at, anything like that? And they can also donate on the website, too.
Sure, they absolutely can donate on the website, and you can call our phone number at 630-620-4433.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
And our website is a great place to start and just get to know us a little bit. And then we always encourage individuals to stop by and take a tour anytime you want. There's always somebody here who would be more than happy at our Villa Park location, our Naperville location, or our Elgin location. Our Villa Park is our largest center, so I always encourage people to start there if they want to learn a little bit more about us. And we'd love to give tours and have people see our space and get to know us a little bit.
Theresa Forthofer, President and CEO of Easter Seals, DuPage, and Fox Valley. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate everything you guys are doing over there. It sounds fantastic. It sounds like a one-stop shop for everything. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Adam, so much. We appreciate the opportunity to talk with you today.
Thank you very much for your time today. Very generous, Theresa. And honestly, anyone that needs any more information, go to the website or call or even stop by for a tour like Theresa said. It looks like an amazing place. You can also go to the website and you can try and maybe test your child, and every child should be tested like Theresa said. So hopefully everyone out there can go ahead and do that. And Theresa over there at Easter Seals in DuPage and Fox Valley, they're there for you. It's a beautiful Sunday, and I hope you guys go out there and enjoy it. It's been a beautiful weekend, actually, and I'm about to go out and enjoy some of it myself. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. For Score Values, I'm Adam Harris. Have a great Sunday, everyone.